Hello again. Sorry, something happened. Okay, we're just gonna wait a little. Okay, great. And we're sorry, I'm a little bit late, 2 or 3 minutes. Hello.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good
Thank you.
evening.
It's actually noon here. Thank
Right,
you very much.
good
What's
afternoon
up?
then. Hi, how are you?
Thank you very much. So how are you? It's good
Um,
morning there, right? It's
yeah,
10.
it's just gone past 10 in the morning
Oh,
here in the UK. Very good morning to you.
thank you very much. Okay, so could you please introduce yourself?
So yes, hello everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much, Elahe, for having me. My name is Ahmed, but you also may call me Jack. I am an English teacher. I mean, I'm trained as an English teacher, but I've really never had the opportunity to to sort of teach because I changed my fields earlier on. Um, I'm based in the UK. I live in England, and I spent the last 2 years at home because of COVID-19.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean the situation is a bit terrible here because of the restrictions and the lockdown. But yeah, almost 19, sort of 18, 19 months. I've been sat at this room. That's why I had some extra time to sort of create these videos and teach English because of I'm not commuting to the office.
Yes, and you're really active on your page. I mean, I love your videos, and I must say, I love your accent. It's
Oh, that
British. I can never
thank
do
you.
that. My
I
accent
oh,
is American.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think it boils down to practice, really. It takes time, but it's not impossible. It's just a matter of time, commitment, and also being passionate about it.
Of course, that's right. Yes. So, did you choose the British accent, or just because you live there, you kind of got the accent?
I think that's a great question. So initially, when I started, it it was a mixture of American and British English. Um, I was quite, I was influenced quite a lot by the American music and TV because, and films. But I think
Mm-hmm.
after I moved to the United Kingdom, just over 6 years ago, I thought, and because I live in the UK, so that just became like de facto, just the norm. It would be very weird if you're living in the UK and you're learning, let's say, American accent. That wouldn't make quite a lot of sense to many people. So maybe because I'm immersed, because I live here, and because I watch, I listen, and I breathe British English. Perhaps that's the reason.
And how long have you lived in London? And do you live in London?
That's a good question. So I work in London, but I live outside of London. I call myself like a village boy, maybe a countryside boy, because I can't stand living in big cities. I think it's too much for me. I prefer nature. I prefer like green spaces, and I think for me it's yeah. I mean, I work in London. Like the office is quite central. It's in central London, but I live outside, so I commute to London. During for my work, basically.
I mean, I would I myself love to live in the suburbs. I think that's much better than the, big cities, downtown, all the pollution, the crowd.
Absolutely, I
Can't
think we
stand
are
it.
on the same page. Basically, I think
Yeah.
there's more green spaces. I think the quality of air is much better. Like air pollution
Mhm.
is a real issue. Besides, this also could be quite expensive. Like London is one of the most expensive cities in the world when it comes to living, transportation, food. You know, and even if like if you say if you have a family, I mean, getting from A to B transportation wise could be an absolute nightmare.
Oh, wow. And how long have you lived there?
So I moved to the UK back in 2015, and I still can't believe it. Like just over 6 years and a half, you know, and um,
Time
I'm
flies.
absolutely like time flies. Basically, I can't believe it's been over
Yeah.
six 6 years now.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to introduce myself as well. My name is ELAHE. I'm 29 years old and I live in Iran. I've been teaching English for 3 years on Instagram, and but I'm a theater student. Actually, I graduated, and I kind of mix these two up together. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. I try to teach English with comedy, through comedy. And that's been, kind of cool for me as well. And I'm really happy I got to know you. I got to know your wonderful content on your page. And I must say, you're really active. You post, I don't know, like every day, and that's really great. And you post really awesome things. That's really great. And thank you so much for being in this live with me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I mean, I'm delighted. I'm honored. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. So basically, I wanted to have just a casual conversation, but do you have something special in mind so we can talk about?
I mean, I'm easy. Uh, feel free, to steer the conversation the way you want. So please, the stage is yours.
Okay, so I'm going to take over. So let me tell me about your most wonderful experience as a teacher.
I think that's a great question. That's a really good question. I think for me, the most interesting experience has been working with someone who really struggled with English. So they had to take an exam, an important exam, and that was an IELTS exam. And they came to me and they said, please help me. I've taken the exam several times and I could not get, the sort of the required mark, and I'd like you to help and support me. And I remember, like, from like that person, she was in a really bad situation because like she lost her confidence after
Uh-huh.
taking several exams like IELTS exam tests, and she could not get it. So I told her, look, the most important thing for you when you are learning, is to have self-confidence and to be passionate. So for her, she hated it, English. Like she absolutely, disliked the language. She had to take it because she needed to go and study at the university in the UK. But in order for her to get her visa, she needed to get, that language test. And I told her, look, I think we need to get things, we need to kind of change your perspective. You really need to fall in love with language. You need to have passion about it. And I started, like, we had a plan. We started basically sort of, working together almost on daily basis. I started sending her, like, articles, like funny articles, news. Like I knew what she was into. So she was into food, and she was a foodie basically. So I would every day, I would go like, what is thinking about food? So I'll send her that link, some useful vocabulary, and then like there was some nice documentaries, some really cool podcasts about food. So, and I think it was in a matter of few months, like her perspective, like her passion completely changed, like from being like hating this language and not liking it, and then kind of, she really became so much into English. And And I think after, yeah, after the first attempt, she passed with flying colors, and she made it. You know, she got the required mark, and I think that was one of the most interesting experiences for me, because it's really, it's about your mindset. You know, it's really about, you know, I mean, I think this happens to quite a lot of us. You know, at the beginning or initially, we might not like something, we might not find it quite interesting. I think, but after some time, and the more you learn about it and you more get into it, you might change your
Uh-huh.
perspective. I think that was one of the most
Exactly.
interesting, you know, kind of, I always say, success experiences
That was
for
really
me.
interesting. Awesome. That's great. And I've had some really, wonderful experiences myself. For example, I've had lots of students who were, who hated English and just had to learn it because of, lots of reasons. And I was like, how can I make it easier for them? How can I make it fun for them? So I thought about it a lot, and I just remembered that I myself learned English with comedy TV shows. Okay. And I thought when you laugh at something, it makes it fun for you. So it doesn't feel like you're learning it, you know? So
Definitely.
that's where this thing came to my mind. That, okay, I can teach them with comedy, through comedy. I can make them laugh and teach them at the same time. That would be awesome. And I started doing that, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I got lots of great feedbacks. And it was like people were telling me that, okay, this expression that you taught through comedy stuck in my mind, and I can always remember it. And I was like getting what I wanted. Okay, this is what I want in, learning English, teaching English. And that was the great experience for me as well. Trying to come up with new ideas for them to make it easier.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, I mean, you need to, I think, I mean, as a learner, but also as a teacher, you you really need to work on making the class or the materials that you're delivering interesting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you do not want people to lose interest. And one way that, I don't know, like perhaps for me, that worked really well was like learning through comedies. Like I'm so much into comedies. I mean, I'm all about
Really?
comedies, you know,
So we have
and
that in common too.
you know, and I think definitely, and I think when it comes to culture, I mean, maybe a British or American, you know, all sort of, um, there are lots of like, you know, comedies. There are lots of, you know, podcasts. I mean, now Netflix is a fantastic platform for those who would like to watch and learn. And I think, you know, learning through comedy is a great way of learning a language. So completely agree with you.
Do you have any special TV show in mind?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, I have a lot of them racing through my head now, and that one, I mean, maybe two. The first one, if you're really into British English and British humor, is a series called The Office.
Aha, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's
The
a really
Office,
good
but
one.
I've
I mean,
never
it's a
watched it.
classic. Yeah, but it's a really good one. It's like it's
Okay.
the setup is at an office workplace in the UK. I think it's
Uh-huh.
in London, and it's quite funny because you learn the language and it's funny, but also there are lots of like cultural cues. You know, that is really quite interesting, and I can't get enough of it. You know, I keep
Really?
watching it. Every time I watch it, I learn something new. I think that's a really good one, and that's British. They
I'll give it a
also
try
got,
then.
definitely, this is highly recommended. They also got In Betweeners. That is also another good
Could you
TV
type it?
series.
Maybe some of our followers would love to know the names. First
So
one was The Office, and
the first one is The Office. So there are two versions.
uh-huh.
There's the American version and also there's the British version. So I'm talking about the British, but also there's like a more extended American version. And the second one is In Betweeners, and that is an absolutely fantastic show. It's a TV series. It's British English, but it's funny, it's light, you know, and it's great to well, if you want to have a good laugh, go watch that.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you want to learn about culture, if you want to sound a bit cheeky with your friends, there are lots of, you know, absolutely fantastic stuff there. So highly recommended. And I remember, like before moving to the UK, I also used to. I mean, I was crazy about Friends. I mean, if you are into American English, you know, Friends is a
I
great
love it.
series. It's my
It's
all-time
sacred for me.
favorite.
And it's
Absolutely,
totally sacred for me. I
absolutely.
adore it.
Exactly. And you've also got, you know, a friend of mine, like here saying East Enders, you know, absolutely. This is an amazing show as well. So I mean, there are a lot, absolutely a lot. I mean, if I mean, yeah, if you perhaps on Netflix, you know, there are different categories. If you like the
Uh-huh.
British comedy, um, yeah, I don't know, like it's so
Okay.
appealing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome then. Hmm. So it was The Office. I can't remember the second one you said. In Between.
In Betweeners. It's like it's a strange name. So in between ERS. In Betweeners.
Aha, okay. I'll give that a try too.
Yeah, and Friends. Obviously, I can't skip
Obviously.
that.
I can't get enough of it. Me neither. Okay, so thank you very much. And I also wanted to ask you another question.
Please.
And how to improve our confidence? You know, a lot of people tell me, how can we improve our, confidence? You know, they know good English, they can't speak it when they do, but it's like when they wanna, give it a go in front of native people, they just feel like they're not good enough. You know what I mean? And how can we improve our confidence in speaking?
I think that's a really great question, and I think this is a question that I get asked quite a lot by lots of English learners and my students. I think to start with, I have to say that in certain cultures, people feel kind of a sense of shame if they make a
Uh-huh.
mistake. You don't have to be ashamed. In fact, I have to say it's on the it's on the other kind of on the flip side of it. I mean, perhaps it's quite completely contrast. You should be very proud of yourself because you are, you know, taking on learning a new language, and so this is completely something new, and you should be proud of yourself. You know, don't be too don't worry about what others think of you. You know, don't worry too much about what if others going to judge you or others going to judge your accent. That does not matter because you know you're talking about learning and you I mean I live in the UK and the vast majority of people that I know here in the UK only speak English. So for you as a language learner, maybe you speak two or three or four languages, you know, and you should be very proud of yourself. So first of all, you keep this in mind, you know, the mindset that you have to be proud of yourself because you are learning something new and learning and something new takes time. Anything,
Uh-huh.
including language, that does not happen overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy. Um, and most importantly also it takes commitment. You really need to be committed. You know, you can't say like, you know, I want to learn English like in a week or in a month that I need to master English. I've been learning English for donkey years and I think I will never have enough of it. There's always something new, you know, you're constantly
Exactly.
learning because the minute you stop learning it means there is something wrong with you, absolutely wrong with you.
Yeah, I totally
Like,
agree with you.
you know, that's my take on it. But the other thing also I would have to say when it comes to confidence, besides the idea of not being ashamed, you know, of not worrying about too much about making mistakes, is that start speaking today. You know, um, the sooner the better, because if you start practicing, you will get to know your level. You know, you will also boost your confidence. I mean, the sooner you start, the better. I think that is really would be my advice. I mean, today we are at a time where it couldn't have been easier for any person to learn any language, particularly or specifically if you're talking about English, because you go today online, you've got millions of articles, you've got millions of podcasts, you've got millions of YouTube channels and, you know, videos out there for free to help you. You've got, you know, radios, you've got TV shows, you've got everything. All it needs for you is just to be committed, be disciplined, and have a plan, you know, and don't worry too much. I mean, nowadays, as I said, you could, I mean, I remember one of the things that I used to do back in the days when I was learning, like during the initial stages, that I would go and I would record myself, you know, speaking. Because I was not confident at the beginning. I was so I would go into my room, you know, and then like stand in front of a mirror and imagine myself to being on a stage. So I'd be, you know, speaking to myself, and you know, there came times when mom was like, you would be yelling at me like, "Hey, is everything okay? Whom are you talking to? You know, is everything
He's
okay? Have you
lost
lost
his
your
mind.
mind or something?" You know, I said, no, I'm just practicing, you know, and I think with time, I think that helps a great deal. And the other thing also I would say is that, you know, when it comes to I mean, try to, I think that's a technique that perhaps could help. Try to find your idol. So if you're speaking British English or American English, who is your favorite speaker? Who is your favorite instructor? Go watch them and try to mimic them every day. Every day. Mimic them for 10 minutes. Try to kind of use their body language. Try to kind of use the same vocabulary they're using. You know, kind of observe, like, you know, their mouth, how they speak, the way they speak, their tone, you know, the pitch. And if you focus on one person, maybe after a few weeks or a few months, I think that would in most of cases should help you kind of become a better speaker. There also, I think, when it comes to becoming more confident, have groups like, you know, speakers or people of the same mind, people who've got the same interests, and try to have, like, you know, a conversation club, or, you know, meeting online. Nowadays it's quite easy, you know, to go online. There are lots of forums, there are lots of applications, there are lots of apps where you can practice, even with native speakers. There are plenty of platforms for you to go and practice. And you've got your camera, you've got your mobile phone, you've got maybe your PC or laptop. You can have access to anything, everything, everyone, as long as you've got, you know, good, or let's say stable internet connection. Or even you can do this offline, like learning. So you've got a lot of stuff, you know, at your disposal to help you. And I have to say, you know, I mean, it's a good thing to compare yourself to others, but don't do that too much, because each of us, each person learns in a different way. So that would be my recommendation.
Yes, that was awesome. Thank you very much. You know what I did? I used to picture myself on Ellen show. I don't know if you've watched that show before or not. On a talk show, Ellen show. And I remember I pretended to be a guest star on the show, and I was like, okay, Ellen is asking me a question, and I started speaking in English and explaining it in English. For example, she asked me this. How did you become interested in teaching? And I just started to tell the story about how I became interested in teaching. And this helped me a lot. And I remember I used to do that on the street, and people were, you know, looking at me, what's wrong with that girl? Why is she speaking? Why is she talking to herself? And I was like, it doesn't matter to me, as long as it helps me, you know, improve my English. So that's great. And now that I'm learning French, I'm doing the same thing. And you have no idea how awesome it is. You know, I watch TV shows and I try to memorize the lines in French, and I just try to say them with the accent. And what you said about choosing someone and try to, you know, imitate them, try to say the exact sentences as they do, exactly as they do. That's I think that's really great suggestion. That helps a lot. You know, it just, you know, for example, you just love how someone speaks, so just, you know, watch a lot of shows about that person and you try to imitate what they say, and that helps a lot. And what something else that I did, I remember I had an app on my phone, Hello Talk. I don't know if you know that. And I tried to make friends with native people. For example, I had a French friend, Victor. I don't know where he is. I've lost touch. But he wanted to learn English, and I wanted to learn French. So we chatted in English and French. I taught him English. He taught me French, and we made, you know, we were really good friends, and that was amazing. And I just feel like we shouldn't be scared of speaking, as you said, you know, because the only person that is making fun of us is ourselves. For example, if we make a mistake, that's okay. So what? We made a mistake. We always make mistakes in our mother tongue, so that's, you know, actually not a problem. So we shouldn't be afraid of speaking, but first step is to try to speak to yourself, talk to yourself first, and then make friends and try to, you know, come up with, I don't know, a club so everyone can speak English, and just, you know, make it a main part of your life. For example, you said something really interesting. You said, I breathe in English language, you know. That is really awesome. You have to think in English. You have to breathe in English. The moment you wake up, you need to be thinking in English. Say everything that you're doing in English. For example, I'm taking an apple. I'm biting an apple. Everything, if you do that in English, that helps a lot, I think.
Absolutely. I think I completely agree with you. And a key, I think a key element of learning the language is to immerse yourself in that language.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about different ways of immersion at different levels. So reading is really important. You need to read in that target language. Well, maybe for at least like 10 minutes a day. You could be one article, you know, one short story or one chapter, you know, from your favorite novel or book or magazine. They're also talking about, you know, listening is also important. Like, try to listen every day. You have fantastic apps. You have access to hundreds of thousands of podcasts, maybe millions nowadays. Listen, maybe for 1 hour a day. Try to write something. I mean, one recommendation that I would suggest would be, you know, change your social media into English, for example. You know, follow, say, on Instagram or on your TikTok or on your Facebook. Go and change it to English. That should help you a great deal. You know, follow, like, let's say, English kind of, you know, English based or English speaking or English language kind of websites or Facebook pages where they will be posting news and updates and articles. And then also you could go and read that and also read the comments, what people are commenting. You know, I think that's a really interesting way. It helps you learn about people, about culture, and, you know, try to speak. I mean, I think there's no use of you if you're learning a language if you're not going to speak it. There's absolutely, I think it's pointless. I would say it's really important to practice speaking. It's really important because you're learning language, and what's going to be the use of if you learn the whole dictionary basically and you're not using it, there's going to be no use. So I would say, you know, try to focus on practical English. Try to learn practical words, vocabulary, and sentences that would help you in everyday life situations. I mean, I know some people have learned like words that perhaps you would never use in this life, neither in the next life, because people do not use it. So, you know, I mean, it's good to have a good grasp of the language and have a variety of vocabulary, but there's sometimes, you know, just words that you never use. Maybe you use it once in your life, and you maybe you would never use that, you know, in English. So, you know, I think that's just it takes time, and you know, I just have a plan, basically. Be disciplined, have a goal, um, and the most important thing was also to have realistic expectations of what you can achieve. I mean, I have
Yeah.
sometimes some people reach out to me and say like, I want to learn English like in a week or in 50 days or in 60 days. I mean, I said like, look, even if I transport you and I transport you from where you are and you put you in the center of London day and night, it's gonna take time. It's not that
Yeah.
easy, you know. It's just like an injection or it's like a magic thing that I could do for you. That does not work. I'm really sorry. There's no shortcut. I mean, there are things that you could do to help you, you know, kind of along the way, but there's really no shortcuts.
Hmm. Yes, exactly. They keep telling me the same thing. How soon can I learn English, you know, and speak full English? And I'm like, okay, it takes time. You are learning until the last day of your life. So it's not like a limit to that. You're always learning. And what I keep telling them is that, okay, it's better to learn, to, you know, work on your English 5 minutes a day, but every day. You know, because lots of them try to, for example, they just come up with a plan. Okay, on Saturdays I work on my English, and then the rest of the week they do not do it. And I'm like, okay, this is the worst plan. You need to spread it in your week plan, and you need to work on it 5 minutes a day. It's better than, you know, working just one day a week and just like 6 hours. You need
I
to just
completely,
make it a part of your life, you know?
I think absolutely. I think that the key word it is being consistent. Consistency is key. You know, having a
Mm-hmm.
plan and you know, kind of committing to that plan and being disciplined. I think self-discipline is really important. And now I'm not only talking about English. I'm talking about any and everything in life that you do. Having a plan, being consistent, and being committed to that plan, you know, helps it.
Uh-huh.
And I think after maybe people could have a plan maybe for 6 months. And I think if you're enjoying it, maybe after like 2 months or 3 months, you know, down the road, you would forget about that time now because you started to learn, you start to enjoy it. That time does not count anymore. It just becomes part and parcel of your
Yeah.
everyday life.
Exactly. It's, I mean, I keep comparing it to working out. For example, you want to be fit and you start working out, like you do crunches, like 10 crunches a day, and then you go weigh yourself and you're like, nothing happened. But if you just do that for 6 months, you'll see how fit you get. You know, this is just like working out. You
Absolutely.
can't just expect to do 10 crunches, 100 crunches a day and then expect to get fit. You need to be consistent. You need to do that for 6 months and do not think about the result. But then at the end of the 6 months, you'll see the result. So you need to be patient. You know, it can't
Absolutely.
happen overnight.
Absolutely. I think it takes time, as I said. Um, I think, yeah, just be committed, enjoy it. I think the most important thing just for you just to go, you know, enjoy the process. It's not about the
Yeah.
destination. It's about, you know,
What?
enjoying the process.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy the process.
Definitely.
Don't think about the results all the time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And so, do you speak other languages?
Oh, that's a great question. So yes, I do speak other languages. Um, so for me, my mother tongue is Kurdish. So I speak Kurdish
Ah, awesome.
and I also speak Arabic. Also, my mother tongue is also like my second language, which also I would say is my mother tongue is Arabic. So
Uh-huh.
Kurdish, Arabic, English, and now I'm learning Spanish as well. So yeah.
That's great. So, can you teach me some Kurdish? For example, a sentence in Kurdish. I've always, you know, wanted to learn how to say Kurdish because it's a lot similar to Persian. They've got similar vocabulary. I don't know if you've noticed.
There are lots of similarities. I think because Kurdish has its roots in Farsi. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, for example, you know, you can say like good morning, for example, or you know, good day. You could say Rojbash, for example.
Rojbash.
Yeah, Rojbash, this could be, you know, like good morning or like good day, like Bayani Bash or Rojbash or Sveta Bekhair.
Uh-huh. So
Uh,
which one? Can you say it again?
so you could say Rojbash
Rojbash,
or Bayani Bash.
Payandi Bash,
Bayani Bash, Bayani Bash.
Payani Bash. What does that mean?
Like good morning, or you could say also Subh, Subh Bekhair or
Uh-huh.
Sabah Bekhair.
Uh-huh. We also say Sobh Bekhair in Persian.
All
Sobh
right, sounds
Bekhair.
good. So they're quite close, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
it's the
Beta
same
Bekhair.
as
You say,
Arabic.
you know.
Uh-huh. Interesting. And for example, how can I say I'm 29 years old? How can I say that?
Okay, that's a good one. So you could say, so the two accents you've talking mainly about Kurdish dialect of Kurmanji or Sorani, but in both of them are quite similar. You could say something along the lines of as beast unah salim or amin beast unah salim.
Okay, one by one. Go one by one.
Uh, as
As
yeah, yes, EZ. So Echo Zulu as beast unah salim.
as bist unah
Sal.
sal.
M.
Uh-huh. Beast is beast in Persian.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
29 is bist
Yeah.
no.
Do you say chart bin shesh haft hashna? Yeah. Exactly.
Ah, awesome. Thank you very much. And these similarities among languages always interested me, you know. I'm like, okay, what do they call 29 in their language? What is good morning in their language? And I've always been curious about learning all the, languages
I
around the
found
world.
that quite interesting as well.
Yeah.
You know, cultures and languages, I'm very passionate about them. And I think like for me now I'm learning Spanish. There are lots of similarities as well because some of these words, you know, vocabulary have got their roots in English or in Latin, and then some American or British like English basically of origin come from Latin or French. So you can say there's some similarities there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. For example, the similarities between French and English, uh, they have lots of, same vocabularies, but they just pronounce it differently,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. Like
And that's really
international.
amazing.
Exactly. There are lots of interesting examples absolutely out there. Like in terms of like the root is the same,
Hmm.
but the way you
Yeah,
pronounce it is sort of different based on that language.
exactly. Yes. And do you want to learn something in Persian?
I would love to actually. How would you say, like, say, um, you know, if for example, if you want to tell someone, you are very welcome
Uh-huh.
in Persian, how would you say that?
Okay. خواهش میکنم.
خواهش میکنم.
خواهش میکنم. It's the kh sound. I think they've got it in Spanish as well.
Yeah, kha. Yeah, the kha sound. Yeah.
آها. خواهش میکنم.
خواهش میکنم.
Ah, good job. You have a good
That was
ear.
that was not too much. That wasn't very difficult, but it needs a bit of practice. So خواهش میکنم. Thank you very
Oh, yeah.
much. That's a very like I quite like the Persian, you know. I love it because like the rhythm, like I think the Farsi language is musical. I quite like
Really?
listening to yeah, Farsi music. It's beautiful. It's absolutely fascinating when it comes to the rhythm, you know. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I've gotten used to it, so I don't see how musical it is. But I don't know how it seems like to you, but it's interesting.
I quite like it. You know, I mean like I was listening to to our song the other day, and I was like captured. I was captured, absolutely captured by that. So I can't remember the name of the singer, but it was, you know, um, I think it was someone saying like, you know, Azizim Kujayi, Rafiqum
I
Kujayi,
don't
something
know
like
this.
that. You know, I was like, oh wow,
Azizan
that's fantastic.
Kojai. That means,
Where are
darling, where
you?
are you?
Something. Yeah, to Kujayi.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. We've got lots of famous singers, but yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay, awesome. Okay, and okay, do you have anything else in mind that you want to point out?
Not really, just to say, it's been wonderful. I know there are some connectivity issues. I don't know what's wrong. Might be on my end, but I think it's been fantastic. You know, just you know, spending this just over half an hour with you guys. Thank you so much for hosting me, and please, if there's anything I could help and um, support you with, just feel free to reach out. And I'd love to have more of these lives, you know, in the future. So I think it's a
Of
great
course.
way to learn about people, culture, um, yeah,
Exactly.
exchange experiences. So I'm very grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for hosting me, and most important, thank you for your time.
Of course. Pleasure's all mine, and thank you for being in it. And of course, we can do more of these lives with other topics in the future. If you have any, let me know, or if I have some ideas about it, I'll let you know, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
That
Thanks
was
for having me.
great. Thank you very much.
You take it and
Bye-bye.
have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so we had a great talk and I really enjoyed it. I'll save the live. Make sure you guys watch it and make sure to, let me know if you want me to do more of these lives. And I guess I'll see you later. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.